Hola, Charlene T. Easter here, and welcome back to the channel. And if this is your first time, welcome. This is going to be a pretty abbreviated Wellness Wednesday episode that is solely about moi. I have been on a health and wellness journey for quite some time in terms of, overall wellness and trying to ensure that I am taking regular, consistent actions to prioritize my health and happiness, like I talk about all the time on the channel for all of us gorgeous melanated women, right? And so while there are some things that I am doing right and doing better, there are some things, there's one main thing that still needs a lot of work. Last week, I did a video that was like a Wellness Wednesday, but also like a what's new, because I got some new things. Y'all know I have problem in the beauty space of always buying stuff. So I shared those things and incorporated in that particular video. I shared that I had gained like 15 to 18 pounds over the past 3 months. Let's say 3 months, right? And for those who are new here, there are at least 2 videos on my channel in reference to my health and wellness journey and how it really started around 2014 with a 40-pound weight gain. Another point of reference is I do have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And as a result of that, for me, over the course of my adult life, since I've been diagnosed, which was probably in my 30s, maybe early 30s, I've gained weight a few times as a result of PCOS, stress, insulin resistance. And so my health and wellness journey kind of started then by me using the weight loss shots. The first one that I think that was approved by the FDA was called Saxenda. And that did a whole lot for me, especially because I kind of was gaining weight based on an awful work and job situation. While I won't go into it again, if you are interested, please start with those videos where I talk about that situation. I talk about how I found myself trying to cope, how I was able to get back down to what was then my normal healthy weight, and how I ended up moving into Wegovy, which I have been on for probably a little over 3 years. And it was working super well for me, but I think we have come to the end of the road of my time on Wegovy. I'm not 100% sure if it is... I don't know if there's just one factor, to be honest. I'm 54, heading into 55, and I take responsibility for the pieces and parts of my failure to do what I was supposed to do in reference to my Wegovy shots. And let me explain. I was messing up my shots for a period of maybe 2 months. I don't exactly remember, but let's say like 2 months. For 2 months, I did not take my injections weekly as I was supposed to. 2024 has been really fun. After 10 plus years, I started dating again. So I've been having a good time. I've been having a good time. And, I've been doing a lot of kind of moving around. So I might not take my weekly injection every week like I was supposed to. So sometimes it might be more like a week and a half. And then other times I might be like, oh crap, did I take it and it's been 2 weeks or like slightly over 2 weeks? So for at least 2 months, I kind of was playing around doing that. And I also was continuing to go on dates, eat, drink, and be merry. So, and the drinking piece, while I do drink socially, when I feel like it, I found a favorite drink. And so I found myself frequenting one particular restaurant that had really good food too, to have the drink. And sometimes I would drink 2 or 2.5. And then I'd be looking for the drink whenever I went to other restaurants. And so in addition to messing up my shots, eating, drinking, and being merry, and I would like to add that because I was messing up my shots, while I did not think I was eating a lot more than I normally would eat, I might have been. I really might have been, because it just wouldn't have been very noticeable, I guess. And I was not in the habit of tracking my food anymore because I didn't need to, because for a really long time, being on Wegovy, I didn't have a big appetite. Like whenever I would go out with my girlfriends and we would do dinner or brunch, I would eat what I wanted to eat. And if it wasn't a huge amount of food, most of the time I would finish whatever I had, because you're eating out, so it's good. If it was a lot, then typically I just would have leftovers for the next day. But while at home, I did kind of get into a habit of having to go, did I eat today? Because I just didn't think about food as much. So it is quite possible that I was eating a lot more than I would typically eat. And if not in volume, then quite possibly, no, then for sure, probably in calories, right? Based on the types of food that I would eat while I'm out and about. And so there's those two things: messing up the shots, eating more, and then throwing alcohol in the mix. And on top of that, I am perimenopausal. And for a period, like 6-7 weeks over the summer, I will not complain, because this is just a normal part of life. But again, your girl was struggling. Like, thankfully, I wasn't super grouchy or moody or anything, but my sleep was terribly disrupted from hot flashes and what I call freeze flashes. So, like every night and all throughout the day for weeks. So I think all of those things, in addition to having PCOS, played a role in maybe me getting to this place where I put on a little weight, and I lost all the weight with Wegovy without exercise, which isn't the way I've lost weight in the past, not including Saxenda. But in the past, I would adjust what I was eating and I'd get busy with some exercise videos. And that is my struggle with my health and wellness journey. And it's not even like I hate exercise. It is just, I need to develop better habits and more discipline. So I am seeing this time as a reminder, because I did tell myself I did not want to have to take the Wegovy indefinitely. And If by chance I needed the Wegovy based on my PCOS and the insulin resistance that can come for me with that sometimes, I wanted to take the lowest dose possible, and I've been on the highest dose for, if I've been on Wegovy for 3+ years, I mean for 2.5+ years, I've been on the highest dose. So I see this as a reminder to move my and knowing also, to be quite transparent, like sometimes I find myself feeling a little weak and I don't like it. But it's like, if you don't like it, work out, crazy lady. So this, I think, is just a reminder that while I'm really grateful for the medications, because for me, I felt very much like they were lifesavers for me. There is, I mean, other than probably being in pain, it is really an awful, awful, awful feeling to feel like you have lost total control of your body, and knowing that it is not because you are eating like a glutton or overly indulging in alcohol or anything like that. To know that it was purely stress and being in a fight or flight state daily for years, and what that can do to your body. We're not even going to talk about what it can do to your mental or your emotional, right? But just what it can do to your body. So for me, I just felt really grateful for the medications. And I know some people talk about it and, oh, just like you're being lazy, if you use medicine to lose weight. But people have different situations in terms of what can cause someone to get to a state of being overweight or obese. So I think everyone should do what is in their personal best interest based on information and guidance from their healthcare providers. And that is what I am doing. So I am no longer taking Wegovy. It's been, I think tomorrow will be 3 weeks since I took my last shot based on some medical stuff that I was having done, and I needed to stop taking it anyway for a couple of weeks. So I did get a prescription, as recommended by my endocrinologist, for Zepbound. And it is my understanding that as opposed to having one larger dose of one hormone, which I think is like the GLP-1, it has two smaller doses. Well, how do I say this? It has smaller doses of the GLP-1 and one other hormone. So there are two hormones that's supposed to make it super effective for weight loss. And I will start my shot tomorrow. This injection is slightly different. He showed me what to do, but I was reading the pamphlet and I was looking on the website because it's not overly involved, but it is more involved than my Wegovy pens and the Saxenda pens I used to use. So yeah, we're starting something new. I got to be my smallest as an adult. Probably since I was about 24, 25. Now I was smaller then than I got now, which is good because I don't want to be that small again. I'm a grown woman, right? So I probably was maintaining closer to 145 pounds. I'm 5'5" as a point of reference. And it seemed to fluctuate between, let's say, 144 and about 148, which I kind of liked. So I look forward to trying Zepbound. But in addition to that, over the past, probably since maybe mid-August, I have been using Lose It. Well, actually, I haven't been using Lose It that long. I've been logging my food like I used to do a million years ago when I was on Weight Watchers. And I started logging it initially not to penalize myself or to stress myself out about what I was eating, but to just identify what I was eating and what I was drinking so I could kind of figure out where I was doing the most and to cut back. And so I've been pretty much logging my weight since mid-August, and I'm going to continue to do it for a couple of reasons. One, I want to be super mindful of what I'm eating. Two, I know that I am going to start strength training soon because I do not like feeling weak, and I do not want to be a weak and frail woman at any age. And so I know it's super important for me to get in a set amount of protein in order to supplement building muscle in my body and getting stronger. Who knew it was so challenging to get in enough protein? I mean, if you like meat, I can only imagine how difficult it might be for someone who is like vegetarian or vegan. But so I'm logging my weight. I'm logging my food for accountability in terms of what I'm eating, to pay attention to my protein intake, to also pay attention to the processed foods, and I'm going to say bad carbs. I don't think fruits or vegetables are considered bad carbs, but I just want to know what I'm eating. And I also want to have a better idea of how much I'm eating at any given point. So I recently also purchased a food scale because I want to be able to put in like actual ounces for, especially for meat. You know, most other things you can kind of measure it out by a cup, and that makes it easy. But for meat and certain other things, because like you may not want to eat a cup of nuts or seeds, right, which are good for you, but oftentimes they are higher in fats, which healthier fats, but still I just want to measure things because I feel like at this point I need to have an idea of what I can eat that will make me feel full, that will help me get the amount of protein and healthy fats that I need to build and then maintain muscle. Of course, good carbs for energy. And eventually I feel like I'll get to a place where I don't have to log because I will be super familiar with what things will help me get to the macros that I need to get to each day and how much of the things after logging my food for, I don't know, 8-10 months. I plan to do it for a while. And then two, to pay attention to what things I eat that definitely start to shift or impact my weight in terms of losing or gaining. And because I can be insulin resistant at times, my therapist has been recommending for a while that I try a glucose monitor. And although I used to take that Saxenda shot, which was a daily injection, I do not miss that at all. And while I will do my weekly shots, there's just a semi-mental block for pricking my finger like 2-3 times a day. It's just like I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So I'm giving some thought as to the best way to incorporate that, even if it's for just a temporary period of time, to see how certain foods impact my blood sugar levels and my energy. And I have been exercising some. My goal is to move for at least 20 minutes every day. And I haven't stressed myself about it because I haven't been doing anything consistently for years now where I used to. So for the past month and a half, 2 months maybe, I have walked or moved for 20 minutes, probably at least twice a week. Although I'm really trying to get to a place where I do it every day. So it's like just trying to build these good, healthy habits that will serve me as, God willing, I continue to get older, along with this Zepbound shot. Like, I feel like lesson learned. And although, it is challenging to try to do anything new and to try to build new habits, but I'm just trying to take it one thing at a time. And FYI, for the past probably 3 weeks, I feel like, although I'm kind of still up late for some odd reason, I feel like when I go to sleep, because the hot flashes and the freeze flashes have stopped, that I'm actually getting quality rest, which I welcome, because I was really, really, really tired from being up 2 to 4 times every night for that time period. So I'm really just paying attention to a lot of things that I need to adjust for this phase of life, and choosing to be in a place of gratitude that I have everything that I need to be successful, and just to take it one decision at a time, not one day at a time. I feel like that's too much to ask sometimes when you're trying to change habits. So just one decision at a time. And yeah, I will report back in with any other changes that I plan to make. And send me positive vibes and wish me well as I try to make these adjustments, because there are multiple adjustments, because some I'm making. And another thing that I don't think I mentioned, because I feel like now I'm rambling, is I thought that I was fasting a lot. And actually that started, I think, before I started to do the shot. I just found myself in a habit of eating later and later in the morning, because I normally would like to have something warm and creamy, whether it was tea or coffee. So at first, I may not eat breakfast until like 10 or 10:30 after I got to work. And then I noticed it was like 11, 11:30, 12. And I kind of got into a habit of not eating my first meal until late. I now realize, through really reading information and watching some videos and listening to some podcasts, that technically I was not fasting. I just wasn't eating food. But because I was drinking something with like creamer and sugar, it wasn't a fast. So one of the things that I really like about Lose It, and that I've been using for sure, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I really like it, is it's so many different useful components. But one is that you can kind of decide if you want to make intermittent fasting a part of your weight loss journey. And I like that. So I've been trying successfully most days, maybe for the past 2 or 3 weeks, to be mindful to not eat before 11 or 11:30, and honestly to not drink anything, if it wasn't going to be water, before about 11 or 11:30. And it's working. It's working. I don't feel hungry. I don't feel like I'm starving. And to be honest, if I don't eat a lot the day before and I feel like I wake up kind of hungry, if I feel like I'm starving, I'm just going to eat. I'm going to eat breakfast in the morning. But most days I'm really good not eating or having that first drink of a protein shake or coffee, matcha latte, until at least 11 o'clock. And my goal is to cut it off by 8. just being more aware and paying more attention to when I eat and to what I eat, because yeah, I don't want all the problems. And as much as I love to eat, I love good food. If there are some things that I have to eliminate from my diet or seriously restrict, I'm about to do it because I don't want to feel bad. I do not want to be overweight again. And right now I'm considered overweight. Do I feel awful? No, but I noticed, and I noticed first around my waist, primarily because of my super cute waist beads. And I got a new set recently. Stomach or no stomach, waist beads will stay. Those things are not just cute and sexy, but they are helpful in terms of letting you know when you may be bloated, right? But if you put on a little weight, especially around the midsection. So I think right now, the love handles that came back as a result of like my 15, 18 pound weight gain, I think they might be reducing a little bit. So for this part of the journey, I'm going to focus on adjusting to the shot, the new shot. Pay attention to any side effects, which I believe to be very similar, if not identical, to Wegovy. And I did not have any issues that I can pinpoint tied to Wegovy. Continue to log my food and pay attention to what I'm eating and how much I'm eating. Continue to kind of stay in this space of trying to fast. I just might adjust my time though. I might make it 10:30 to 7:30 as my eating window, because it really can be challenging to get in all the protein. Like, the app has me trying to get in 112 grams of protein. And you would kind of think that every time you eat some form of meat or seafood, like you're like, oh yeah, that's got to be at least 5 ounces per serving or 2 servings. And then I'll look at the app and it's like, I ain't even get half the protein. So it really is something to really monitor and pay attention to all these things. That was my ice melting. and to try to get it right, you know. So that's where I am. Oh, I ordered an Oura ring, and while I have a new Apple Watch because my other Apple Watch kind of gave out after, I don't know, maybe I had it for 4 or 5 years maybe. I ordered the Oura ring because I do want to know what kind of sleep I'm getting, because sleep is essential to weight loss, maintenance, and just everything else about our health, right? So, yeah. In case you cared about what was going on with me. Yeah, that this is where I am. And there are some other adjustments and things that I think that I want to try, but I need to put together a plan first before I share. But hopefully Zepbound will work. And I am starting with there are apparently like 6 or 7 doses, or dosages rather. So I'm starting at the second based on where I was with the highest dose of Wegovy. And I do have a prescription for the next highest dose, but I can honestly tell you that my goal is to see probably for the first month what I do starting at the second highest dose, and if I think it's making a difference with my appetite and some weight coming off, because I do want to be at the lowest dose that I need to maintain, along with doing the stuff that I know I need to do as well. So, you know, it's one of those things that happens. And then being right here along with perimenopause and all those symptoms weaved in, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. But I choose to roll with the figurative punches and stay in a space of being grateful that I have everything that I need to be successful, including the ability to move my body when I feel like it. And just to keep that in mind when I'm feeling like lazy for no reason or like I don't want to do it. The good thing is I do enjoy getting outside to walk. I like the fresh air. I feel like it is more for like, I can't even necessarily say heart health because I think you're supposed to sweat and I don't sweat. So maybe it's more of a stress reliever and just a mindful activity because I love getting fresh air. But we about to get with the strength training and be sore for a little bit because it's been a while. And yeah, that's where I am. And we're going to see where I'm going. And I do think that I will do little mini weekly vlogs to share some of what I'm eating and how I'm moving because I need the accountability. So we're going into the holiday season. I don't necessarily think that'll be particularly difficult for me, but I'm ready. I'm ready. So that is my personal Wellness Wednesday update. And if you have any advice or guidance, if you're someone who is using Zepbound, please share a comment on how it's going for you, especially if you're someone who may have been using Wegovy before. If you just are someone who has been able to kind of bring yourself back from the brink of being sedentary to moving. You know what I'm saying? To moving. And I think ideally it would be great to commit to 3 to 4 days of exercise for like weight loss and then for maintenance and muscle building. But like for my mental, I think it would be good to move every day for at least 20 minutes, whether it's stretching or mobility exercises or yoga or just walking. So I'm going to work to try to build those positive habits. And that is it. Mom's tired and ready to go to bed. So thanks for tuning in. If you are not connected with me on Instagram, I do post in my stories there at times. Connect with me at Charlene T. Easter, just like this channel. And I also post cute little videos on TikTok here and there. And that is at Charlene T. Easter with 2 R's at the end. And if you have not already, please subscribe to the channel and check out some more of the videos, especially the ones in reference to the Wellness Wednesday series. All of them aren't specific to just me and my personal journey. I've interviewed some folks with some really great knowledge, advice, and guidance. And so I hope that it will be helpful to you. And feel free to share with anyone who you think might be interested or it might be useful to them. So that is it. And I will see y'all in the next.